Alright, welcome back to my Sorare journey. This is episode 30 and a massive video today with my biggest reward, with our best finish, and there is the biggest rumour that there could be for me. I think we'll start with a rumour, right? So on Twitter this week, I'm watching the Celtic game and, I'm always on my phone watching football, and Transfer Trader says, oh, the SPL's coming to Sorare. I'm like, sorry mate, what do you mean? You can't just say that as a blanket statement. He sends me a photo of Tom Rogic in his Celtic kit. I'll put it up here, on Sorare data, which is usually fed through directly from Sorare, which means they've either just put the photos on for no reason or they're about to mint those cards. 99% of the time it's because they're about to mint the cards. I've gone and checked myself, they're all there, it's not fake, all the rest of it. And this is massive for me. So, massive Celtic fan, always been my club. I'll show you some clips now. Even my room where I live is green and white. I've got the signed shirt. When I went to Barcelona, I'm always wearing green and white. We had a funny story where I went to get a photo in front of the stadium, little green screen thing. And then she says, sorry, you can't do it. And I'm like, what do you mean, why can't I do it? It says it's free and all the rest of it. And she just goes like, sir, you are invisible, and you'll realise why from this photo. But yeah, I live my life in green and white, and to have my team signed up would be huge. Not only would I collect them for the sake of collecting them, I already have a little Celtic collection, but I think they could be serious contenders in the Challenger. Looking at some of the players, they really are top end scorers on the game, so I'm really going hard. I'm trying to liquidate a balance so I have, instant funds. I might even jump into rare. I don't know. I really don't know. I just want them now. It looks like there's some other Scottish teams on there. There's no Rangers, thankfully. Come on. But yeah, the rest of them look like it could be there. So I'm not sure if they're waiting for the whole league to be onboarded, or maybe they're just going to, do a massive reveal of all the teams. But cat's out the bag, so rare. Get them onboarded. That's all I'll say. On screen now, you can see my best finish ever. It was a quiet midweek. I said I'd never had a top 10. It was one of my goals for this year. We've really smashed it out of the park early doors. We've finished 7th with a St. Etienne stack and no goalkeeper. So it's a weird one. I got a tier 2, of course. I'll show the rewards a little bit later. But let's talk about why I built a St. Etienne team. And it goes out to you guys. Well, very specifically, one of you guys. You absolutely helped me so much. So I'll read through the comment now from Afshin Zaini. Really sorry, mate. I'm awful with names, but I've just started playing. I play limited on a tiny budget. I saw this week there's only one team in Champion Europe that are licensed, St. Etienne, because Angus don't have any cards, and the St. Etienne goalkeeper isn't even fit. Like, we know Etienne Green, he's not fit. Cool name there, links with the club, but yeah, he's not fit. Am I missing something? What should I do? And in my head, I was like, oh, you're probably missing something, mate. I hadn't checked it myself. Like, often people say similar things to this, and I'm like, oh, you're just on my players tab on Sorare. Let me show you here what I mean. So if you go onto the current game week and you go to matches, you can see my matches. So it looked like, oh look, there's only one game in the Scottish Premiership this weekend. Celtic Rangers, massive, come on the boys. But actually you should click all matches and you can see every available, player for that league and that week. And what that basically means is, I went and checked that and he was right. There is only one team and they don't have a goalkeeper. So I was like, okay, 42 cards in the rewards. Like I said, they've kind of broken the system where it looks 2 weeks previously at like how many players were entering, all the rest of it. And I was like, okay, well it's broken, but it's also good because it gives small budget users and people with more time to go in, research, where there's a little gap in the game weeks where there's a lot of prizes but not many cards available. So I did exactly that. I went out and bought the 4 cards I could. The key here is try and be a bit, different. Don't go for the obvious hot scorers. I went for a defensive stack because they don't have many clean sheets. And yeah, it played out really well for me. I'll show you my tweet here, but I had exactly the same team as first place, right? The only reason I didn't win, had the same captain as well, by the way. I finished 7th. I could have won a star rare and a bit of EVE. Absolutely huge, right? The only reason I didn't get that is because of XP, and it just shows how valuable XP are. I posted it on Twitter and some people were saying like, oh yeah, but it's only because everyone had the same teams. I think it's actually, XP is so crucial, you just don't see it. Day to day, you're not seeing, if you had an extra 2% here, you would have gone this far, but when it's only the same teams playing, you really see. I finished 7 places lower. I got a tier 2 when I could have had a star. The difference between them is probably about £2,000 and £70. It's something like that. So it is absolutely massive. And a big shout out to Zaini here. It's just like, if you have that low budget extra time, go in and research. There is the Sorare data lineup builder. On that lineup builder, you can go weeks and weeks in advance, so you can see which players you have lined up. You can see if you're missing a goalkeeper. Some weeks there aren't goalkeepers available, so you can just go out and get the best playing, scoring players, build up the XP in advance. A great spot by you. I jumped in, I tested it out. I wasn't, guaranteed that this would work. We lost £22 as a. I actually lost a little bit less, I think, in the end. But, I sold them as quickly as I could. We lost £22 when I had Mo Kamara up for a -10 loss because I wanted to keep him. I eventually got rid of him for, I think it was a £3 loss. So realistically, we'd save £7 there to make that, I think, £16, £17 loss. So all we needed is a reward of £17 value to make up, in that game week. And of course, we might not have finished in the points. Saint Etienne could have, I could have picked the wrong players from Saint Etienne, all the rest of it. But, I think it was one of those chances where it was probably more valuable or better likelihood to put a team out. Plus the fun side of it, I got to support Saint Etienne, who I'd never supported before. And yeah, I'll jump into the rewards.
Hello there.
Alright, so Taiwo there from Union Berlin, not a bad pickup at all. To get someone in the under 23s, especially as a forward, probably quite good. He sells about, at the moment, from £70 to £80 range, which is pretty decent. If you did that every week, you'd be absolutely over the moon. I think his price is possibly a little bit suppressed from the African Cup of Nations. Don't think he's a guaranteed starter. And what I'm going to do now is what I haven't actually done yet. I've been trying not to do it, is to look at the rewards around me and see how they've done. The reason I haven't been doing it is because it makes you more grateful for your rewards. You're not like, oh, I would have preferred this player. But yeah, let's see who everyone won. Just for content, really. So we're looking for Champion Europe. If you don't know, you can do it on Sorare. So top spot, if I'd picked the right captain, would have got Thomas Muller. I'd assume he's about £600 to £800, not really sure. So that would be huge. I went Taiwo. Diego Carlos above me. Below me, Omar. Marash, I've seen a little bit about him. Wow, this Piero Hincampe from by Leverkusen, he's been on massive form. I would have liked him more. But yeah, overall, I think we've done, fairly all right there. And a lot of you will be saying, all right, well, you said this is your best reward. It's definitely not. I've seen you get much more expensive players. What's gone on? The Eagle Eyes, you will realise we finished 16th in the weekly. The weekly gives out higher rewards. It's kind of a bigger risk, bigger reward type gig. And yeah, 16th with this team. Our Morocco stack. Massive shout out to Achraf Hakimi. He was in doubt of whether he'd stay, and he's definitely staying now. He's gone, I think it was 100, then 97, 2 goals, pushing Morocco through. So this is brilliant. I was third at one point. I really thought I was going to get a massive player, but we're getting a tier 3 super rare. So if you know the channel, we haven't actually got a rare reward yet. We're always ETH grinding, then we move to the limited, and now we've gone and got a super rare with our, limited team. Unreal. One of the benefits of playing limited, and yeah, I'll show you the reward of who we got. Alright, so you saw there we got Clerk from Levante. Overall, he's kind of the tier 2, tier 3 you'd expect. Playing in Champion Europe, that probably gives him a little more value because if he was to drop to a Challenger Europe side, he'd become a really good player. Last sale price was £213. You can't really complain at that. Overall, the biggest downside is that Levante are looking, they probably will get relegated from La Liga, but it's really not that bad, especially when I put out a team that probably cost about that same price, maybe a little bit more because of Hakimi, but I'm not just using Hakimi for the African Cup of Nations special weeklies. I will be using him going forward. And yeah, I was going to keep him as a cult hero, our first super rare, but with Sowick coming on board, I'm trying to liquidate everything. I need as much cash as possible to get into those. We actually did have an under-23s team out as well. I was very hopeful for this, but they just didn't seem to hit it together on the same day. Rio Hatate with an absolute belter of a goal. Go check that one out. But besides that, we still picked up another reward. So I'll go into my club here and you can see exactly who it is. Alex Anderson, he is from Austria, Klagenfurt. I don't know a lot about him, but if you're watching the John Nellis podcast, you know Josh Forth, one of our friends of the channel. He really recommended him as a an up-and-comer best player in the Austrian league. He watches quite a lot of it, so I trust him. So I'm going to hold on to him. 20 years of age, you can't really go wrong with that. He's on loan from a better club, and yeah, pretty much, again, you just keep building up these little rewards, as time goes on, and you're going to be successful on the platform. So yeah. All right, so all that's left to talk about is my strategy going forward. But before we get into that, the big man, Erling Haaland, probably what I suspect will be the most expensive card on the platform ever. The one of one, Erling Haaland, currently at a 36,000 sterling bid or an 18 ETH bid. I want to put my projection out there just as, kind of fun, I guess. I reckon it'll hit £400,000 sterling. I don't know what that is in ETH, but that's kind of where I see the market right now. YNWA, probably favourite to get it. He's got the best under-23 unique team on the game. Very successful. He's been trying to sell off Donnarumma this week in unique we've seen, so it wouldn't shock me at all. But whatever happens, I hope it gets a lot more eyes on Sorare, and I hope people have lots of fun. I'll be watching the auction and, seeing how much it goes for. But we've made some of our own, rather large acquisitions. Not to the same degree, but who is it? So, as you can see, we picked up Julian Alvarez from River Plate. He's just signed for Man City, but he's actually staying at River Plate for 6 months. And I actually heard a rumour it could be longer than that. I heard he could stay, depending on the Copa Libertadores results, he could stay 9-12 months. So I was like, do you know what? For that month, those 6 months of utilities, I think he's going to be the top scorer in the under-23s league. Whilst there's not many under-23s playing, just increases his value. And yeah, currently I have a lot of money to spend on the platform, and I'm really appreciative of that. But I'm not one of those guys that just goes out and wastes money. Like you can see here, I was really prudent with his price. £410 I paid, and in the same week, people were paying £500. One guy actually paid £630, but I'll just check that here. I'm pretty sure that's an overpay. £630 sterling, that is. Yeah, you can pick one up for £570. Highest bid is £520. You pick one up for £544. So he definitely overpaid for whatever reason, but the minimum bid is already £100 what I paid in 3 or 4 days. £100 over that. So look, always try and be smart with your money. Besides that, I've made some other pickups here. So Pablo Ruiz, actually heard that from Andrew Laird on either his strategy or his podcast. He was saying that he thinks he'll get a lot more of the set pieces now. And look, I'm not an MLS guy. I don't know too much about it. So I've got to put my trust in other people that do watch it. And yeah, for £13, a player I needed, seemed like an easy pickup. Gucci from Celtic, or Idaguchi, he's just for the Celtic collection, really. Kang Sang-woo, I actually wanted to pair him with Kang Kyung-min from the Pohang Steelers. I really like them as a defence. And Kang Sang-woo is actually linked with a Chinese Super League move. So that's an interesting one. We'll see how that plays out. For £11, I think it's one of those where you'll probably keep hold of him because he's got fixed supply now. So if he does, hit form there, as a lot of people do, he's going to be very highly in demand, and you can just sit on him and watch him appreciate in value as time goes on. I can't remember if I spoke about Abdul Nuruddin before, but basically, I don't think I did. I made like 0.05 ETH profit on him, maybe like £100, and then I saw him dip back to a cheaper price of about £100 less again, so I picked him up. He played the last game. He's back from the African Cup of Nations. He should be shooting up in price. I got him for 0.318, I think, and I put a minimum bid at 0.39. I wouldn't sell him for less than that at this time. He should be up at like 0.6, 0.7 if he nails down his place, but first game back, he got an error leading to goal, so he scored a 17. He's playing again today, so I really hope he maintains that spot. If he doesn't, it's slight panic stations. I did have him for sale. The only reason, again, I need to liquidate as much funds as I can. He's someone that I don't really use. I can put a common goalkeeper in, and yeah, that's pretty much where we're at on him. Let's hope he goes well, and let's hope he starts today, ultimately. Ozil, pretty sure we spoke about him, but yeah, he was one of those 1 week buys where he didn't play. I didn't do my research thoroughly enough. He was rotated out, to be fair, and then he's got COVID the next week, and his price is so suppressed that I'm not really wanting to sell him right now. I've got that luxury of playing in limiteds where he's like probably 0.01% of my gallery, actual value. So look, I can sit on him as long as I want. I think that's an underappreciated aspect of Sorare. If you have a rare team where it takes up like 10 players, if one of them gets injured, you have to really kind of panic sell. You don't really have as much flexibility as kind of a lower value does on your gallery. I hope that made sense. I know it wasn't completely clear, but who else have we been buying and selling? Let's just go through Sorare data and show you. So Raul Garcia was like a £2 reward, better than nothing. Madi Kamara, he was for the Champion Europe stack we spoke about. Decided to get rid of him. He's probably not going to beat out, Messi in the Champion Europe or Tremaine in the under-23s team, so he's not got a chance. Same as Georgie was actually from Spin to Win. If you heard me spoke about it before, I've actually got rid of the series now for a multitude of reasons, so just selling off a few of those players. Same as Fedor. Was this a little reward as well? Yeah, that was a little reward I got. I don't show the really low value ones. I think that guy was worth £10. So look, it's lovely to keep churning out that ETH and all the rest of it, but I don't really want to waste your guys' time on it. So St Etienne stack buys. Giannis again was from Spin to Win. I debated keeping him. He's done quite well for us in the goal, but I don't really need an extra challenger goalkeeper. These are the three big ones. So Jeremy Dooku, he played really well. He's back fit again, and I was just like, he's just not it. Like, he's not going to replace Jota. He's not going to replace Vinicius Jr. He's not going to replace Messi or Neymar in Champion Europe. I was like, I don't really need him. I'm keeping him for the collectability, and I thought I've got too much in the collectability. Like, for example, I think I've got Camavinga's Ren for about £250, and it's like, that's sitting there doing nothing. I don't want as much money as I had doing that, so I got rid of him. So Blasi, he's a real deal. He's really good. I'm just scared he's a bit rotational, and on this game, rotational is not good at all. So he was dropped for Leipzig when Forsberg, the Swedish guy, was injured. He only started playing when he was injured. Now Dani Olmo is back, and I'm like, it's too risky for me. Let's just get rid of him. Fantastic player, but I've made a bit of profit on him, and yeah. I hope he does well, but maybe not too well because I have sold. Lucas Hernandez, he was a weird one. So I bought him for like a 1 week buy, even though it wasn't planned to be a 1 week buy. He was just so far below what I needed. And it's basically, if you consider like he's £400 additional into a £1,500 Champion Europe team, just for example, £400 into that team isn't too substantial when you compare it with £400 into like my under 23 American team, which I haven't built, kind of thing. That, like, you add more value to a lower, cheaper team. I'll show you that a little bit later, just to finish off. And then Haradi was an African Cup of Nations buy. He had a game, so he was in high demand. And yeah, I don't think there's too much else to speak to. Eunice Atgun, he got 100 in his last game. I had him up for sale. A little tip, don't ever leave your players up for sale when a game's live. You know, as soon as I hit 100, they're gone and they rocket in price. So he was well above the last sold, but I put him probably 20%. He sold for 50% in the same day. So a nice little tip there. And finally, look, it's all about planning your teams. Why I needed Julian Alvarez so bad is that I didn't have a forward until the 27th. So I would have wasted 4 players with games from the 13th. I think it's 2 games in real life. And he's such a good scorer where if he slots in there with not many teams available, he could score really well. Beyond that, look more than just 2 weeks ahead. Try and look forward as much as you can. A lot of people are talking about how the summer under 23s, they're building teams for that. And I thought, yeah, now's probably the perfect time to do it whilst, not many people are looking at it. And you can get the utility in the meantime. So I can get Julian Alvarez in my America team. Then he can filter into the under 23s when I need him. And yeah, it's all about being ahead in this game. The more you prepare, the better you will do. Besides that, if you enjoyed any part of this, please drop it a like, please subscribe. We're really close to 1,000 subscribers now, which would be absolutely huge. I haven't got as much time as I'd like to film all these videos, so when you do see one, be appreciative of them, and if you're not seeing them, understand, quite busy in normal life outside of this. So yeah, all the best to you.